Good evening and welcome to Beyond the Deal, the show where we talk real estate straight up, no fluff, no filters. Tonight we're diving into a hot topic that's been buzzing between agents, lenders, and buyers. The Federal Housing Administration, or FHA, has officially banned non-residents from getting FHA-insured loans. Yeah, this is not a rumor. This is a federal policy that's gonna start being in effect from May 25th on. And tonight we're breaking it all down. We're also answering real questions from clients who have been reaching out to us, like what exactly changed with this new rule? Could this be seen as a modern form of discrimination? Could it be challenged then? What options are left for buyers now? What might be the real goal behind this move from the current administration? And how is all of this going to shake up the Miami-Dade market, especially with the Florida's condo crisis? This episode is deep, it's long, and it's important. So if you are in real estate or if you're living in the US, get ready because what's coming, honestly, it's beyond the deal. Let's get started. What exactly changed with this new FHA policy? As of March 26, 2025, the Federal Housing Administration FHA dropped a new rule, loud and clear. From May 25th on, non-citizen borrowers must have a lawful permanent residence in the United States to qualify for a loan. In simple terms, if you are on a work visa, student visa, or any non-permanent immigration status like I-220A or I-220B, you are no longer eligible. Before this, if you had a valid visa, a social security number, and work authorization, you could totally qualify for an FHA loan. So why are FHA loans so popular? Well, they allowed it up to 96.5% financing. That means that you just need to come with 3.5% out of pocket for down payment. They offered competitive interest rates and they had more flexible credit requirements than many other loan types. Well, all of that is gone now for all those non-resident family. And this is not a small thing. In 2023, alone, around 9% of FHA loans went to borrowers with non-permanent immigration status. We're talking about tens of thousands of families who now cannot buy a home through this program. So, can this rule be considered legal or is it actually discrimination? Well, the government says this policy is about protecting the financial security of FHA program. And they back it up with this exact line, and I quote, "Right now, non-permanent residents are subject to immigration laws that can affect their ability to stay legally in the United States. This uncertainty is a challenge for FHA because meeting long-term financial obligations depends on having stable residency and employment." But here's where things get real. People with work visas pay taxes, have legal jobs, and many of them earn more than the average US worker. So why are they being left out now? A lot of immigration and civil rights experts are already raising red flags. Even the ACLU says that this rule might break fair housing laws because it discriminates based on national origin or immigration status. This is not about whether someone can afford a house, it's about what kind of document they carry in their wallet. And that has serious consequences, honestly, not just legal ones, but social ones as well. We're talking about people who have been building a life for years who want to settle down, invest, raise their family, and suddenly they are told they are not welcome to own a home, or that dream is no longer affordable just because they are not permanent residents in the United States. But look, life goes on. But let's be honest, the road just got bumpier. It's harder now, sure, but not impossible. There are still a few ways non-resident immigrant families can try to become homeowners. First of all, we still have the conventional loans. Some banks still work with borrowers on work visas, especially if they have got at least 2 years of credit history in the United States, and also for I-228. What are the requirements? Well, probably higher down payments, usually starting at 5% or more. Interest rate might not be as friendly for that credit score that you probably had when you were applying for FHA. And here's the scary part. Those loans are still accessible right now, but who knows if they're gonna be like the next target of the administration. This feels like we are sitting on a time bomb, right? And nobody knows when or if it will go off. The other option is private lending or hard money. Yes, there is funding out there, but it comes with strings attached, right? So first of all, interest rates between 9 to 12% depending on the market. Fast closings, but very little protection for the buyer. And thirdly, and many of those loans don't even report to your credit. So they can work in a pinch, but they are risky and definitely not for everyone. And the third option could be partnering with a US citizen or legal resident. This is a legal option. Now, you can buy property together with someone who is a permanent resident or citizen. You can do it, but watch out, right? If you don't have a solid legal agreement in place, this can turn ugly real fast. I've seen those situations blow up and in major legal battles, so be careful with that. Now, let's ask the big question. Why is the current administration really doing this? It's time to zoom out and look at the big picture and the macroeconomics behind the move. We're in a moment where inflation is still a top concern for the administration. The Federal Reserve is holding off on cutting interest rates because they are afraid inflation could bounce back. And in most housing markets across the US, demand is still higher than supply. So what's the strategy? Simple and easy. If you cut the number of people who qualify for home loans, you cut down the demand. Less demand is equal to less competition, and less competition is equal to slower price growth. And that could help pull down inflation without having to raise interest rates again. Sounds smart, right? On paper. But here's the problem. This kind of move comes with a cost, and that cost is social exclusion. Because while it might help fight inflation, it also sends a message. If you're not a permanent resident, you don't get to be part of the American dream. Or at least, it gets harder now. Now, let's talk about what this means beyond housing. Let's talk taxes. If non-resident immigrants keep getting shut out like this, it raises a big question. What kind of impact could this have on the tax system? Let's be human for a second, right? So you work hard, you pay your taxes, you follow the law, but then the system turns around and says, hey, I'm sorry, you still don't qualify for basic stuff like owning a home, or it's gonna be harder for you. Naturally, people started asking themselves, why even bother filing taxes if I get nothing in return? Here's what could happen, right? And by the way, that's not correct, but this is what could happen. People might stop trusting the system. More transactions could shift to cash and off the grid. And the IRS might ramp up enforcement and audits on immigrant taxpayers. What's the bottom line? This doesn't just affect home buyers, it could undermine tax revenue and shake up the entire system. Alright, so let's get local and real. How does this policy hit Miami-Dade County, where immigration is a driving force of our real estate market, and we all know that? Here's what data says for February 2025. Single-family home sales dropped 15.7%. Median home price rose just 0.8%, now sitting at $655,000, a clear sign of a slowdown. Condo and townhome sales dropped 21.7%. Dollar amount of those sales fell 16.5%, from $708 million to $592 million. And while the median condo price went up 5.1% to $455,000, the market is flooded with inventory, 12.6 months worth. That's a red flag. And let's be honest, many of those condos are stuck. Prices are dropping and listings are sitting. The market is getting stale, and we all know that. Now, what could be the consequences of this new rule, the new FHA rule? Well, the few non-resident FHA buyers we had, they're gone now, or forced to look for alternatives that require more cash on hand. Condos, which were already struggling thanks to the insurance hikes, strict regulations, spatial assessment, and all the things that we know, are now even less attractive. Here is the danger. Condos are usually the entry point for first-time buyers. So, when you block those buyers out, demand dies down. Sellers cannot sell. Buyers cannot qualify. Inventory builds up, and the whole segment stalls out. We could be looking at a massive condo freeze in South Florida. And this FHA decision just hit the accelerator. This new FHA policy, it's just one piece of a much bigger strategy to control the housing market. But here is the real question. Who wins? Who loses? The ones who win? People with strong credit, cash on hand, and access to conventional loans. The ones who lose? Thousands of hardworking families whose dream was to finally own a home, but they are not residents yet. In a place like Miami-Dade, where over 50% of the population was born outside of the United States, this is not just a financial rule. It could be a quiet way of redefining who belongs and who doesn't. It hurts to say, but we're seeing it happen. Now, please listen to this. Don't get discouraged, right? There are always thousands of ways forward, especially when you have the right team behind you. So if you're feeling lost or overwhelmed, give us a call or call your professional real estate agent. We're going to leave the number right here on the screen. We're here to help you navigate those rough waters the smart way. And believe me, we will. Thanks for sticking with me all the way through. I hope today's episode helped you understand what's really going on and gave you the tools to make smart choices that protect you, your dreams, your capital, and your future. Share this video with someone who might need to hear this. Drop a comment and tell me what you think about this. Is this a fair policy for you or just another quiet way to freeze the market? Subscribe if you haven't, you know that's very important. As always, don't forget, here at Beyond the Deal, I tell it like it is. No filters, just facts. Until next time, I hope that whatever happens with you between now and the next time we meet is absolutely amazing. Be strong, stay informed, and stay happy.